and then at the end of it, it was like flashing red, and it said like you're at the face of chronic burnout. I was like, okay, what the hell? Like I was so embarrassed because I was at my office desk, so I minimized the screen and everything. I was slowly like reading through it, like what is it trying to tell me.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Girl Next Door, where we talk dil se dil tak. हम बातें करते हैं दिल से दिल तक. And this is a platform where we share stories and celebrate life. And this episode is exciting because we have a transformative guest with us. She has done her engineering, did her master's, became a TEDx speaker, and now she's exploring the world of career coaching. She has been coaching people specifically in the mid senior level to executives who are leaders in different corporate industry and also in large MNCs. She's been coaching them. She has been transforming their careers. She has been helping them in finding the right career, in finding the right identity when they are switching careers in their journey. So please join your hands to welcome Pavi Theva. Hi, Pavi.
Hi,
Thank you
Sneha.
so much for coming again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I know it was a bit of a thing, but I'm glad I'm here.
Yes. And to our listeners, I lost a few episodes when I started on this journey, and one of the episodes was of Pavi, and Pavi has been very kind to say yes to coming again on the show. So thank you so much.
Of course, yeah, no worries, happens.
What has changed from the last episode to this episode?
uh,
You were saying something really amazing is happening these days.
Oh, right. I started doing more like corporate workshops and trainings. So I've been going into like corporations like General Motors and Dell and really helping their leaders and executives to increase their productivity, performance, and build some of the soft skills necessary for leadership. So that's been really exciting for me because I, really enjoy group experiences as well. So yeah, that's been a big update.
Yes. I did see one of our recent releases around that you're going to Dell and you're doing a group session with them and you're doing a corporate session with them.
Yeah.
How has that landed?
It's actually mainly through LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn is has been an amazing tool for me. So actually, networking there and reaching out to some of my peers in the industry and all of that has been really helpful. And sometimes I also get people pinging me in my inbox, like asking me like what I do if I'm open to do some workshops and things like that. So yeah, it's mainly LinkedIn, networking, those sort of things.
And I'm gonna take you a little bit back because we did not ask you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your journey. And because we have lost that previous episode, that journey is no longer with us, and we want to make sure that our audience do get to hear that. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So what I do now?
Yeah. Tell me about your journey from how did you ended up becoming a career coach? Last time when we talked, you talked a little bit about how you were always a goal oriented kid, and I want to hear all of that all over again.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was like, super ambitious, very goal oriented. When I was in my sixth grade itself, when my teacher asked me like, who do you want to become? That's a very common thing they do in like Indian schools, right? So I was like very specific. I told them I want to do computer science engineering in Anna University. I was so specific because that's kind of how my mom, coached me or mentored me, or she was like a big inspiration and pillar of support for me throughout my childhood days. So yeah, I did my undergrad in India, came here for masters. Everything was super planned. Everything was what I expected. What I was working towards. There were no surprises in my journey. Then I started working in Ernst and Young. That was my first job, and then moved to some startups in the Bay Area. I worked there, and then started working with Amazon. So I've been working in tech for like close to 10 years before I started doing coaching full time. And coaching has been going on for the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah, so that's kind of
10 years
overview
of software experience, and then one day you decide that I'm gonna leave all of this and then I'm gonna move into career coaching. What motivated you to do that?
So this was not planned at all. Like from being someone, like you said, right, who knew what she wanted and did that, like coaching wasn't something that I was even aware of. I didn't know it's an actual career that you can even pursue, right? So, but after working for a few years in Amazon, I was feeling very lost and unfulfilled. And I've always been someone who wanted to love what I do and be passionate about it and find meaning in it and, help people and impact people. And I wasn't able to find that impact in the work that I was doing in Amazon. And that was just taking a toll on my mental health and then slowly on my physical health as well. Because I was trying to work really hard, make a mark for myself. I got some some promotions and things like that. but still it wasn't enough. I always felt like, okay, something is missing. It's not what it is. And I wanted to do something that also comes to me more naturally, and something that, I feel like I'm using my gifts and my strength and my potential, right? It's a feeling. So I was really missing that. And that's when I started to explore and ask myself, okay, what do I really want for my career? What do I really want to create for myself? And started that journey of self discovery.
When we were talking last time, and while even behind the camera today,
Mm-hmm.
there was one thing which you have talked about, which is burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Often because you were so goal oriented
Mm-hmm.
and you were so focused on your career, and you always did reverse engineering, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about that a little bit, like what reverse engineering is. So when you did all of that from the very beginning of your career, and you were always focused, and do you think that that burnout had something to do with this coaching thing, where you said you thought that, okay, I have faced this as a professional and I don't want others to face it?
Yeah, absolutely right. That was the wake up call for me, really. If I hadn't had that phase of burnout, I don't even know if I would really be here today, right?
Talk to
Doing
us a little
this.
bit about that,
Yeah.
what
So
that burnout looked like.
yeah, so actually it's a funny story. Like one day, an assessment came at Amazon, like, hey, take this burnout assessment or wellness assessment. And I was like, okay, let me check out like how I'm doing, because I was feeling a lot of exhaustion and tiredness. But I was like this work hard, party hard types. So I didn't know like I was actually burnt out. I just thought this is how it is. This is how corporate life is, because I've also seen my dad like, working really hard, and I just accepted the lifestyle of corporate hustle. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, let me take this assessment. And I just answered the questions from my heart. And then at the end of it, it was like flashing red, and it said like you're, at the face of chronic burnout. I was like, okay, what the hell? Like I was so embarrassed because I was at my office desk. So I minimized the screen and everything. And I was slowly like reading through it, like, what is it trying to tell me? And then everything made sense. And then I was like, okay, I need to do more research about this. And I started like looking up for resources, and then started working with actually a well-being coach, and that was actually my introduction to coaching. I didn't know much about like coaching and things like that. I tried therapy as well for some time, but that wasn't super helpful for me. Just in my personal experience, it wasn't super actionable for me. So I did therapy, coaching, and then coaching really worked well for me. And that's when I thought, oh, I think I can do something like this. Like I really enjoyed that aspect. Yeah, so it was definitely a wake up call for me. And I felt when I transformed, when I learned these things and transformed myself, I felt very naturally inspired to help other people who are also going through the same thing, because you always feel that, right? When you figure something out, you feel like, oh, now I want to help other people with the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you come from the southern part of India,
Hmm.
where there is a lot of, again, like most of the India and the South Asian continents have this in them, that education is one of the prime things. You have
Right.
to get educated and make sure that you're following a career like this.
Hmm.
When you talk, you must have told your parents and your family that, hey, I'm gonna stop this job right
Hmm.
now, and I'm gonna focus on something which is completely not, probably not gonna pay you for the next few months
Yeah.
or for years, until you start truly monetizing it.
Hmm.
Or maybe if it is paying you, it's not paying you as good as your like 10 years of career, because you have built that experience.
Hmm.
How, what did that conversation look like?
Yeah, it was super challenging, nothing like I expected. A few things happened here. So, I actually started more in a spiritual journey, because I was having this existential crisis at that time. Because all I've studied, all I've known for is only like tech and engineering, right? To even think something beyond that was super uncomfortable, and was coming from this place of being absolutely lost on what the hell I can do. So, for some reason, I was talking to a friend in Amazon who was also my undergrad friend, and he was going through this journey himself. And so I started more on the spiritual path, like doing a lot of meditation, and I went to retreats, and joined few organizations. And then I started to host meditation classes at Amazon and things like that. So when I was going through that itself, a lot of people at home, at like parents, not just parents, but other family members were also like, wait, what is she doing? Is she going to become a monk or something like that? Because the spiritual side is also not seen at is not well received, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially as a woman, when you're doing something like that, people ask you questions. Like I was asked questions like, are you planning to get married? Like, are
Mhm.
you like, what are you actually doing here? And some of them are like, are you preaching something? So I had a lot of personal attacks on me, and
Where did you go
some
for that spiritual
conflicts.
learning?
So I did a bunch of stuff. On the Western side, I did like Martha Beck, um, and then on the Eastern side, it was Isha, Art of Living. Deepak Chopra more on the Western side. Yeah, so blend of Eastern,
So
Western.
basically, you were looking into corporate kind of spiritual journey, like corporate manifestation, elevation kind of thing, like corporate gurus, and at the
Mhm.
same time, you were also seeking spiritual gurus.
Yeah.
Got it. Got
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Got it.
So that was that. And then once, I went through that phase and came into the space of coaching because I realized, okay, what are the pathways or ways in which I can really help people, like coaching, teaching, sharing, really stood out to me. It felt like that is the medium in which I can make an impact. So when I started that again, I never thought I would do it full time this soon. It was more like, let's just do this. I'm happy. I love this. I feel good about this. So it just came from that place. There was no like business plan or anything like that. So my parents were chill with that because they just thought I'm like, helping people, doing something that I'm passionate about. So during that time, it was going well. And then once my business naturally started to scale, right, when people were feeling happy about the results and they
Mm.
started referring other people to me, I got more serious about it. Okay, I'm having a lot on my plate right now. I cannot do a job and, do this and do justice to this. When things got serious and I told my parents that I'm thinking about quitting, that was when there was some conflict because they were like, you're so young. Like, why do you want to leave a corporate career? You
Like
should
have it as a
maybe,
side hustle.
yeah, have it as a side hustle, like, make it like earn more stocks. Like, don't leave the monetary side of things because they weren't able to believe that I could make the same amount of money, doing this. So that was really a difficult
Are you
conversation.
making the same amount of money doing this?
To be honest, I'm doing more. But it wasn't always like that. It's been a journey. But yeah, when I started, like you said, right, first few years was like really less. I think my first year I made like 20, 30K annually, and then like slowly scaled up. But yeah, I didn't know what's possible for me, but I was willing to explore this possibility because I knew there is something here.
Mm.
And I believed, even though people didn't believe, but my husband truly believed, which was really helpful for me
Mm.
because he was there as that supportive pillar of support. Right? He's like, yeah, you love it, go for it. Like, you will make money. Like, it's not a big deal. And
Because you're passionate
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
But when even when you follow a passion, there comes a time when it starts getting to that
Mm,
mundane zone where
mm,
you start feeling that, oh my god, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And
mm,
it's a human psychology, it's a human
mhm,
nature. How do you keep yourself like, you are following your passion now? You cannot
mhm.
go and complain anybody that you're not following your passion.
Mhm.
How do you keep yourself motivated, or what do you suggest your leaders when you're coaching them, because this problem
Yeah.
is very common across the board? What do you tell them?
Yeah. So one thing that I do is like really having a very solid morning practice. As cliche as it sounds, what I do every day dedicatedly is just take 5 minutes and visualize the highest, best version of myself and the impact and the purpose and the passion that I want to share with people. So that when I visualize energetically, immediately I shift, to a different zone because I'm connecting every day with that purpose and with that version of me. So I feel definitely motivated to show up that whole day as that version. So I never miss that practice because if I don't do that, what happens is I get caught up in the weeds of things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you're feeling very disconnected. You're like, oh my God, I have to do this, that, this. Why am I doing this? That was easy. This was easy. You get into that messy zone. So I think really centering yourself, having something to center yourself every day is important. And for me, it's like visualizing that. And that's what I, coach my leaders as well. Like, really define what is the version of you that you want to become, like your future self, and start stepping into that version every single day. So 1% better every day, like, you become that version itself.
Share an example of that visualization, like what does
Mm.
that visualization looks like to our listeners
Mhm.
who are listening to you right now.
Yeah.
I want them to understand that when you up doing this practice in the morning, what exactly, like what kind of things you can say to yourself.
Yeah. So first I would actually recommend journal, like take like 5 minutes or whatever and journal like, what is what does the best version of yourself look like? Ask yourself that question. What is the most courageous, bold, confident version of me looks like? And journal that, like, what would she, how would she show up? How would she look like? What would she be doing differently? What would she believe in? Like, journal some of that and then really close your eyes and try to think about that version, right? If you close your eyes and try, what does she look like? For me, she wears this blue blazer or this red blazer. She's having a fancy bag and she's like speaking on stages. And then she has a book that she's written, and people are like, getting signed versions of my book. And then there's this aspect of me doing like group experiences in corporate. So I visualize all of that. And then it just energizes me, right? Because that's what I want to do. That's the impact I want to create. So immediately I'm like, yeah, let's start this day with that energy and start taking those steps towards making that vision a reality. So that's what it looks like. Does it help?
It does. I have though when you were talking about that book thing and all, that kind of took me into a different direction, because these days social media has become a complete fraud, right? it's
Yeah.
it's it's a it's a big facade out
Mhm.
there, where you think that, oh my god, this person has so many so and so followers, this
Mhm.
person has done a book, this person has
Mm.
done so many things, this person might be famous. But when you start digging deep into it, you start figuring out that, okay, the followers are fake.
Mm.
The book that has been written down
Mhm.
is basically a paid, because there are
Mm.
publications who are reaching out to you
Right.
that, hey, you're doing so and so things, we are ready to write,
Mm.
help you write a book,
Mm.
right? How do you, like, where do you think that the coaching aspect helps in figuring these things out, and segregating yourself out of these false hopes and these false things which are lingering around you all the time? Like,
Yeah.
I am on LinkedIn, and every other day somebody will send me that
Yeah.
messages like, do you want to write a book, do you want to get
Yeah.
featured on Forbes, do you
Mm.
want to be on this and this magazine, do you want our journalist to interview you, so that and there is this much of charge to this, and this is how you'll
Mhm.
be publicized, because we have
Right.
8 plus millions followers. I mean, I can do it, you pay
Mhm.
and you can do it, and there are tons of people who are doing it.
Mhm.
But then, what is, like, how is that beneficial, how is that actually making a difference?
Right. So that's a very, interesting question because I feel the same way. I'm on LinkedIn and I get messages every day. And recently, couple of days back, I shared on Instagram as well. Like I hired a marketer and then, it wasn't the quality work that I expected. And his branding and, everything was really spot on LinkedIn. And he had
Exactly,
amazing
yeah.
testimonials. And then I felt like it wasn't as what I expected. Right. So there is definitely that big risk in social media. There's so much noise out
What were
there.
you expecting from that
Um,
person?
just high quality work and
Like when you talk about
mhm.
that work, give us some example, like what did you expect and what was not delivered?
Okay, do we really have to go there? Like
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
if
yeah, I mean,
it's
we're not taking names, so we just want to,
okay.
like, when you talk about those marketers out there who brand themselves so
Mhm.
well, what are certain things which you think that because you have experienced it,
Yeah.
right?
So, I mean, I hired for more like video editing and posting and creating like marketing materials and assets and doing some outreach as well about the masterclass and things like that. But again, quality is very different for different people. So for me, it just felt like the message, like there was just some basic quality missing, like grammatical mistakes and not knowing my niche properly. And the editing was not spot on. It was very poor. So, yeah, couple
So
of those things.
got
Yeah.
it. So the entire social media marketing thing, that was not spot on,
Hmm.
which includes reaching out to the right audience, boosting the posts correctly, making
Yeah.
sure that I'm getting the right kind of engagement,
Yeah.
because you're into a business
Yeah.
where you need corporates to
Right.
hire you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
So I
So
think,
yeah,
yeah, there is that lot of noise. And everyone, now the coaching industry also has really like boomed. It's $1 billion industry, I think. And a lot of people want to do coaching with Topmate and these other things coming up. Everyone is like, yeah, I can mentor you on interviews. I can mentor you on this. So I get it that there's a lot of noise. I honestly don't have an answer for you, like how to, figure out who's legit or not. Like, so in my process, I have like around 1 hour free call before I onboard someone. So I think that is my way of being more authentic, because we are discussing the goals and challenges during that time. And also it's a vibe check, like how do you vibe? Are you able to like open up, like be comfortable with each other, so that there's no pressure? You've met me before you signed up for something, before you said yes and invested, and you know my story. And I also do like workshops where I talk in depth about my methodology and my process. So that is my way of helping people to gain trust in me, by sharing my methodology, by sharing like real stories and testimonials, by giving them 1 hour free sessions to get to know me. So yeah, that's all I got there, I guess.
got it. And when you say that you talk about your methodologies and your process, and how you're going to take that person on this journey,
Mhm.
I want to understand that, where did you learn about these methodologies? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's some words I like, really, really.
I get it. There was one word for me. Yeah, phenomenon.
Phenomena.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh
word
God,
gets
yes,
like
yes,
really
yes.
messed up
I
for
mean,
me.
there are certain words like I always struggle with.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
basically the process behind
Yeah.
it, like,
Yeah.
where did you learn
Yeah.
it?
See, honestly, I'll be very honest. I've invested over like 100K actually. It's like doing a PhD or a master's program in my own way, right? So I've invested, yeah, easily like 100K in different masterminds, programs, and all of that. And I've learned those things and I always incorporated in myself, because I also want those results and outcomes, right? So I'm
Yes.
also in that same boat. So I always learn from those coaches, do it on me. And then I feel I have a gift to create these frameworks and methodologies as well. And it's partly from the acquired skills, like 10 years working in product management and corporate. You also have some transferable skills. You know how to strategize things, you know how to put a a process together, a product together to go through that transformation from point A to point B. So it's a blend of acquired skills, and also like I feel my natural gift is to understand people's emotions and mindset and behaviors and what their blocks are,
Hmm.
and then what their genius is. Like if I really talk with someone for an hour, I will be able to figure out their mindset blocks, their energetic blocks, and their zone of genius, which they might not be able to see right now. But
Right.
that's why I felt like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I want to do. Like,
Wanted to.
you feel that, right? So yeah, it's a blend of everything. Like what I've learned, the skills I've acquired, some natural abilities and talents, and I'm like put it into frameworks because I want it to be actionable for my clients. Like not just I gained some knowledge,
Hmm.
but I was able to like take this, implement it for my particular situation, and I got this outcome, right? So yeah.
So, I'm gonna ask a personal question here. What do you
Yeah.
think about me?
I mean, like honestly, we haven't, like had
But you have
that.
this is the second
No, but
hour
I
which is
meant like
going on.
asking you questions. Like I would
Okay.
be asking you questions
What kind
about
of
you.
questions would you ask me?
So I would ask a lot. Like, so my 3-step frame, like, process that I have in my mind to help someone find their zone of genius is like their passion, skills, and talents.
Hmm.
So I would ask questions to dive into that area. So I would ask them, like, for example, what are you really interested in? What do you sit hours and hours and read about or search about, right? Or when you're lost in conversations with people, what are those things that you converse about,
Hmm.
like love to talk about? Like that kind of helps you understand your passion, because finding your passion is very hard. Like,
Very hard.
yeah, so a lot of people
And
don't even
after
know.
once you find your passion, pursuing it is also very
Yeah,
hard. Like
that's
you,
true. That's true.
there are
Yeah.
many moments of those dips where where you think that okay, maybe I should go back to the job where I
Yeah.
was at least making some money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's passion, right? And then when I come to skills, I would ask them like, hey, what comes to you naturally?
Hmm.
Like, what do people, compliment you for? I know
Hmm.
that when you come to podcasts, maybe people compliment you for your hospitality, for your way of asking questions, like, digging deeper, being able to connect the dots between things and make sense out of it. So those are all some of the natural skills that you have, right? Or being able to put things into higher perspective is something that people tell me, like, I feel I'm blabbering, but you're able to connect all the dots and put it into higher perspective for me.
Hmm.
So things like that, right? I would ask questions about their skills. And then like skills and talents, it kind of goes hand in hand. Talent
Right.
is something natural, skills are something you've acquired. So I would look at, if you worked for in the industry for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, like what are some skills you gained? And in your personal life as well, like what are some skills you have?
Hmm.
Like really understanding that, so that you can combine all of that. When at the intersection of all of that, you will find your really like your zone of genius and your purpose.
Got it. Got it. So, you have coached tons of executives and leaders so far, and I think how long have you been doing this?
um 3 years.
3 years. So in 3 years, so many coaching sessions, so many counseling sessions where you have been talking to people and have been helping them find their own path,
Mhm.
basically, right? I want to understand that what is that one thing, or what are some of the traits which you generally see in a person about whom you're sure that this person is going to take a leadership role and is going to succeed, or this person is going to struggle in these areas and they're going to not succeed in this, and I have to be mindful about saying this to them, but also making sure that they understand that they are fishes, they cannot fly, and somebody who's a bird cannot swim. So how do
Hmm.
you do that?
It's a very interesting question. See, like this is your gift, probably, like knowing what to ask, like how to dig deeper,
Yeah.
right? That's okay.
Okay, I'm glad that this is a gift. I hope this will let the
Uh-huh.
podcast go on and
Yeah,
on.
because take for example Oprah, right? Like
Mm.
Oprah shows, if you watch, it's kind of like that. She knows
She's
how to
amazing.
bring people's emotions out, how to like deliver their story in a very interesting way and in a
Mm.
way that moves people, right? So probably some of those could be like your gifts, right?
Oh, maybe one day, like I become Sneha Kashyap Thakur. People talk about me.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the question, right? So wait, can you repeat it? I feel
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think what I was trying to understand that when you meet a person, how do you define or how do you understand that this person is gonna go and lead and become a leader, and
Mm,
he or she is gonna succeed in the
mm,
leadership role? While there are people whom you'll meet and you'll understand that no, these folks are actually following a wrong passion, or they're
mm,
not gonna succeed. They're gonna struggle in these areas. I
mm,
have to be You have to communicate that to them, and also
right.
be mindful about communicating that to them. So
Mm.
tell me about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Very interesting. Okay. So I actually guide them to tune into their intuition
Hmm.
and actually like tune into like what they are feeling and what their body and emotions are trying to communicate to them,
Hmm.
because your mind, it can trick you a lot. Like it can tell you like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, this is, if you do this then people will respect you, if you do this then your parents will be proud, if you do this only then you will be like accepted or recognized amongst your friends. It tells you a lot of things and then you're stuck and confused. But your body, like, it can never lie. I feel like when you do something that you love, you feel good, you
Hmm.
feel energized. If you do something that you hate, that is not in alignment with your true self, with your skills and strengths, you feel miserable. So I would literally start by diving into that, like helping people tune into their own intuition so they are able to trust themselves and lead themselves, because
Hmm.
nobody should need a coach or any external person to tell them what they should be doing. So
Hmm.
I never tell my clients like, this is what you should be doing, I think this is the best path for you. No, like I would help them to gain that self trust, to learn how to tune into their intuition and how to trust themselves on what's right for them. So yeah, like that's where I would start, like really understanding the things that they are doing now that is making them feel very drained and exhausted, and then the things that they do that's making them feel more energized and alive, and then use those clues, those breadcrumbs, to then decide what is the path for them next. So for example, in your product job, you could really like talking to people and doing all of that, like mentoring, or maybe some aspect of like coaching the interns and stuff like that, but you might not like actually developing the product
Yeah.
or being in those strategic meetings, while for some others that's the part they love, like the strategy and brainstorming and things. So that's where the answer lies, like really understanding, like listing down all the things that you do which sucks the energy out of you, which like makes you feel alive and energized, and then seeing like those skills and those tasks, where can I actually find a job that I could do just more of that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
does it make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. So basically, you help them think on things,
Yeah,
be reinstate certain things, and ask, when you ask those deeper questions,
yep,
they're able to, peel those layers of
exactly.
their own self and
Hmm.
identify, okay, this is probably something that I
Yeah,
want to go versus not.
exactly. Yep.
But tell me one thing, do you think that your experience as a, like, you have been a TEDx
Hmm.
speaker, right?
Hmm.
And you have talked about the same career coaching and mindset shift and all of that. Do you think that that experience has something to, is basically adding value to your position as a career coach? Like, people trust you more because, you have been a TEDx speaker, you
Hmm.
bring knowledge from different mindset coaching,
Hmm.
like famous mindset coaching
Mm,
programs. Do you think that that is
mm,
also adding that, or do you think that it's more of your personality, that
mm,
people, when they meet you, they feel more calm,
mm.
they feel more connected, and they feel more engaged?
Right.
What do you think?
Definitely the latter, the
The latter.
personality and the energies, all, even if I didn't have any credentials, I think it really doesn't matter. Like for the people who I work with, they don't see like, oh, she has these credentials. Like really not. Like they just feel, whoever feels more comfortable with me, whoever connect with my energy, connect with, they feel like, okay, she can understand where I am.
Hmm.
And I feel she has the right guidance and the tools to get me to where I want to be.
Hmm.
So when they are able to gain that trust by talking with me, that's what really, you know, make someone to say yes to work with me, I feel. But the outside plug points like, yeah, TEDx and all these credentials helps in order to probably, I think it might help in terms of building some authority and credibility, because
Hmm.
now you don't know whom to trust, whom not to trust in the social media noise. So maybe it helps there, but definitely the latter is super important, the vibe and the check and things. And see, my passion is really, teaching and then mentoring and then speaking. So the reason I really pursued to do TEDx was honestly not thinking about I need these credentials or
Hmm.
anything like that, because it was more like I love speaking on stages. I love the presence of people, there, and when they were laughing for some of the jokes that I opened up with, and I was able to connect to the audience's energy. And even today, I love doing those group experiences with people where I walk around, I give them, worksheets, they do it, I respond with them. So I just do it because I enjoy it. Like I feel like in my element. It's like an
Hmm.
artist, right? An artist loves to do music, and they don't care like if the music would go bigger or viral or not. They love the art of doing it. So it's
Absolutely.
very similar for me. I can sit and talk hours about the topics that I'm passionate about, and I love to speak and do these experiences, put down my thoughts and write a book. So all of this I want to do only because I just enjoy it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Somebody recently asked me this, that, do you think that you get bothered by the number of followers? And I said that 1% yes,
Mm.
because you do want the reach to
Yeah.
reach to happen, and because you are on a public platform, you are there because you want to address a bigger mass.
Mhm.
But when I'm crafting my art and when I'm actually shooting for my for an episode, I really don't think about it,
Mhm.
that you know
Mhm.
how this episode will go. And I
Right.
remember we were talking like a few minutes ago that
Yeah.
we wanted to be honest.
Yeah.
The more honest one can be, the more
Mm.
blunt one can be, the more uncomfortable somebody can be in sharing the truth is what we want.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's very difficult to be uncomfortable on a camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
now I'm gonna shift you the gears to a little bit more deeper on the
Mhm.
career coaching side.
Okay.
And I want to understand, like you have been coaching a lot of mid senior and
Mhm.
senior leaders.
Mhm.
When a professional actually moves from becoming from being an individual contributor to a mid senior level professional or a leader, the nature of the challenges they face,
Yeah.
they changes.
Mhm. Yep.
Those change, and then the complexity change.
Mhm.
What are some of the common challenges you have addressed when you are coaching these leaders? And what do you like, what are some of the common I would say what are some of the common solutions
Mhm.
you have discussed with the mid senior
Yeah,
leaders?
that's a good question. We'd start with challenges and then go into the solution aspect. So for leaders, the common challenges is like they're not responsible just for themselves.
Hmm.
They now have to lead the team
Hmm.
and lift the team up.
Yeah.
So, but how can you lift a team and empower a team? You have to, before that, lift yourself and empower yourself. It makes sense, right? Because as a
Hmm.
leader, when you lift yourself, empower yourself, and you're able to lead yourself, then you're able to like just inspire and uplift your team as well.
Hmm.
So the way I do this is like really helping them first step into their strengths,
Hmm.
their colors and flavors of brilliance, and being able to like lead themselves and
Hmm.
uplift themselves. So then they can naturally lead and inspire their teams at the same level. Because think about your previous bosses, right, in corporate, like the most shitty bosses that we've had.
I have had.
Yeah, are people who actually are like insecure, who don't know like their own strengths and purpose, who are people who don't know how to embrace change, people who don't have resilience to like work through challenges, people who don't know how to communicate and give feedback to their team. So all the shitty bosses that we probably had are people who didn't have these skills for themselves.
And people who are less emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point. So first, as a leader, like you have to build those skills for yourself, and then like uplift and empower your team to do the same.
So you're saying that
So
one of the complex challenges is that you thinking about like how you can uplift your entire team, and that team
mhm,
comprises of say 5 or 10 or 20 different individuals, and all
exactly.
these individuals have a different
Yeah,
personality, which
exactly.
might or may not align with
Mhm,
yours.
mhm,
So that
yeah.
is one of the common
Yeah,
challenge.
challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've like, because I've worked with a few people now, like I figured that there are common challenges, and I created like a framework around this. So I focus on 6 C's really with the leaders. So she's like one more framework.
Yay! I love frameworks.
So the first C is so I'll tell you all the C's. So clarity, calm, courage, um, consciousness, contribution, and connection.
Clarity, calm, courage, consciousness, contribution, and connection.
Yeah. So and then the seventh is communication, but I sometimes link communication into the other pieces because it doesn't have to be a standalone pillar, but that's an important aspect. So this is where we go into each area and like coach them on those leadership skills so that they become a
Amazing.
very powerful leader, and then they are able to also like share and build and grow their team as well.
God,
So yeah.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Clarity. I have heard of clarity and connection and communication, but calm is
Yeah.
something which kind of
Yeah, because the challenge with leaders, they go through a lot of stress and
Mm.
overwhelm on a day-to-day basis because there's technological disruption, there's changes happening in the company, in the org, and the people who I work in the fan companies, there's constant like reorgs and changes going on. So like they have to really maintain that presence and that calm emotionally and mentally and physically in order to be able to lead their team. So we dive into that, like how to be calm under chaos, like literally, and feel mindful and present in your work on a day-to-day day-to-day basis. So because they deal with a lot of things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And I think I am glad that you brought that in your framework, like the being calm. This is so
Yeah.
important. We forget it.
Yeah.
We try to be clear. We try to be conscious. We try to be courageous,
Yeah.
but we don't try to stay calm. And it's
Right.
very important for our own, upliftment
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And contribution is like, as a leader, you need to contribute to the vision and mission of the company. So
Absolutely.
really identifying how you can contribute and, do things that actually make the impact for the company. So we dive into that. And consciousness is, as a leader, you have to be right a lot. You cannot, sometimes you have to learn how to trust your intuition, make decisions. So how can you develop that consciousness in order to make effective and fast decisions is something that we work. And what was the other C? Connection.
Connection.
Connection is, you have to
Courage.
have connection with your team, right? Like with the team, with those stakeholders, like your peers and everyone you work with, like how to build those authentic connections and trustworthy connections so that you have those advocates and all that for yourself. And courage is, again, with the change and everything going, you need to take some courageous actions. You need to like have the confidence in yourself. You cannot let self-doubt or anything hold you back from doing things. So that's another piece.
And also the courage to be stand tall for your team. Like if
Yeah.
you think that your team has done the job and the
Mhm.
leadership above you is doubting that, you should be courageous enough to face them.
Exactly.
And we call it what, managing up.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
managing up is again a very
Mm.
very, it's a very courageous thing you have to do.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people fail at that
Yep.
in their mid
Yep.
senior position.
Yeah.
One thing which is very common in that world, or in that breadth of mid senior leadership, is stagnation in career.
Mm.
A lot of people feel stagnant in career, and then they are not able to figure out whether they need to explore new career opportunities, or they need to be go up in the ladder of the corporate. How do you navigate such scenarios?
Yeah.
Or what is your
So
process there?
yeah, I mean, for the leaders who want to like really grow and lead a team, we spoke about the 6 C's. Now, for the professionals who are feeling stuck and stagnant, there are 3 C's.
Okay. C's. We are sticking to the C. C is our favorite alphabet for today.
It just is a nice letter. You can make up so many words.
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
One day I was just asking ChatGPT to do all the
That's
D's.
also C.
Oh,
ChatGPT.
I was asking it to do all the D's, all
Oh,
the
okay.
C's, all
Right.
the P's, all the
Nice.
E's.
Yeah. I think C and R is like really
Yeah.
has a lot of words.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for people who are stagnated, it's like clarity, confidence, and communication. I think this we spoke in the last podcast a bit. But basically, because they are stagnated and stuck right now, they need clarity on what really, would bring that passion and that fire and that spark back. It's about like reigniting that for them, because now they are so stuck and they are like, almost exhausted that they've been in the same income level or in the same job for 8 years, 10 years. So really figuring out what is the new path for them, new path forward for them that will be fulfilling, that will be impactful, that will also bring them the financial rewards that they want. Right. And then confidence, because when someone is stuck and stagnated, you lose confidence in yourself. Right. You feel like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Look at my peers. They've all, grown. They've gotten higher salaries. Like I'm not good enough right now. You are mostly like internalizing that story, and you're having those self-sabotaging limits. Right. And then communication, because they need to really like fine tune that, like build their network now, like build their brand and presence for the new path that they want to take. They have to learn how to self advocate for themselves. They have to figure out what value they bring and how to communicate that value. So it's almost a different process for them in order to like get that new job or make that new pivot
And
and build
when you
that
would
brand.
look at the same thing for the leaders and mid senior leaders and the leaders, executive leaders, would you say it is the same thing?
No, it's not, because for the professionals, it's like these 3 C's. And once they progress and get into a good path for themselves where they feel like, it's fulfilling and aligned and impactful, then probably they'll work on the next set of C's in order to like become a better leader. So it's almost, think about it like a evolutionary thing.
Yeah, but my
or
question was more focusing on the mid senior leaders. So what I'm saying is that as professionals, you still have a quite good clarity around, okay, I'm gonna be a senior person in this, and then I'm gonna be principal, and then I'm gonna be a director. Or sometimes you just change your career path altogether. But when you go at a mid senior level, you already have had a plethora of experience in that area. So switching domains is challenging. Maybe you don't, when you're thinking about growing up in the career, so you'll see as you grow up the funnel becomes narrower at the
Right.
top, right? There are only a few senior directors or a few senior VPs or a few VPs when
Yeah.
you move up.
Yeah.
My question is that how do you help these mid senior leaders find what should be their path of growth, whether they should go up in the ladder where there are less number of positions and there is more competition, or switch domains, which I don't know whether they'd be interested in or not.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's a great question. Yeah, I think it's very different for different people, as you know. So it's about, again, tapping into their unique, I don't know, the best word I could use is purpose, I guess, right? Because for some people, people I work with, for them, finding meaning is very important. That is their core value. They want to do something that's meaningful and impactful. So for them, it's probably changing into domains where they solve problems that feels meaningful for them. So I've had people who wanted to work in healthcare. Like, that's something we identified together because they were in like Amazon or some tech companies.
Okay.
And then they felt like, okay, I didn't find meaning in this, right?
Yeah.
And meaning was a core value for them. So
Yeah.
now I ask questions like, okay, what kind of problems do you find meaningful to solve?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of excites you? What is your mission? Like, if you were to solve one big problem, what would it be? And then they would be like, oh, healthcare related stuff or education. Or it would be like, oh, I really love, like, interior designing and merchandising and things like that. Or it would be like hospitality. I really like hotels and, these. So I would be like, Jin, choose those industries. Become a product manager in those industries. So you find that meaning in your day to day work. So then it becomes like changing domains. But for some others, the core value is actually like problem solving and building a team and like leading a team and being a leader. So then it's like, if leadership, service, building a team, these are some of your core values. This is what motivates you and excites you. Then it's about growing up the ladder. So yeah, like really figuring out what ticks them, what sets their soul on fire, like what are their core values and motivations, so that you can align your new path based on that.
Got it. Got it. And do you think, and the reason I'm asking this question is because at one point in time, it also everything also becomes about personal brand. How good are you at branding yourself? And when you reach at a mid senior or senior level or an exec level, your personal brand and basically your connections are the only thing which is actually helping you go and navigate in this industry, because this industry is also very small.
Yeah.
And I was listening to somebody today, and the person said that right now 87% of the corporate professional struggle with personal branding. How do you help? Like, first of all, do you
Yeah.
help with
Yeah.
personal branding?
Yeah.
If yes, then how do you help with that? Like,
Yeah.
share some tips and tricks people can use at different level to build their personal brand.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, the personal brand falls into
Would
the
you have been
communication
telling
pillar.
this to all?
Yeah, probably yes, I think, because I'm really enjoying this.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a nice, deep dive, and like it feels like a jamming session
Yes,
on
absolutely.
topics
That's
that we
that's
love.
the point, right?
Yeah. So personal branding, like actually it falls under the communication area because I'll tell you why. So tips for personal brand really starts with figuring out what problem you want to solve. Because personal brand is not just about you, it's about solving a problem for your audience.
Right.
So you have to figure out like what problems can you solve and what is your solution and methodologies to solve those problems. So what I do with clients is like really helping them figure out their thought leadership of what do they want to be known for, what do they want to contribute towards, what problems do they love solving for people, and what is their unique solutions and signature processes in order to solve that. So if you answer these kind of questions, then you get more clarity. Like, okay, I want to help women in tech become better leaders. That's going to be the brand that I'm going to create.
And can that
Or
change over time?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For you, for example, right? It's your brand is like, I want to bring South Asian stories, like share South Asian women stories and what like you completed like share South Asian Indian stories and connect and bring people together.
Yeah, mine
Something
is
like
South
that.
Asian trailblazer stories. Like,
Yeah.
I want to share and celebrate everyday heroes.
Yeah.
From the South Asian origin. Like, that's
Right.
my thing.
So you have a brand,
But I
because
started with South Asian women, and then I pivoted.
Right.
I said that no, why just women? Let's talk about all the South Asian, diaspora. And who knows, in the 10 years down the line, I might open it
Yeah.
up for everybody.
Yeah.
But so, is it okay to have a branding like this?
Yeah, I think it's actually great that you're evolving, because as you are, evolving and learning new things, you also feel the need to expand your brand, because
Yes.
your brand is actually a representation of your own self, right?
Yep.
Even for me, I started in life coaching and spiritual coaching actually, and then from mindfulness, like spiritual life coaching, mindfulness, and then career, and then leadership. But everything is around like all the tools, the processes, and the things that I do are kind of the same, but it's just new audience, expanded problems, expanded solutions. So I think that is totally okay. But you need to always ask yourself, like, who are you solving the problems for? Like, who is it for? What problems you're solving? And then how you're going to solve that. So that kind of, those are the elements of your personal brand.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And
And then why you? I missed
Yeah.
that, right? Because why you is like actually your story. Like, I do this because I believe in this. I do this because I love XYZ. So for you, it's like I saw that there is a gap that we don't have these stories shared. And it brings me joy to share these stories because I believe these stories inspire people.
Yep.
So that builds your brand's mission and the reasoning as well. So for me, it's like I've been through this kind of, burnout and loss of purpose. And I want to like now help people to build careers that they love, that they're proud of, that's meaningful and impactful to them. So that is also part of your personal brand, like the story of why you're actually doing that and why do you really care about this.
And because you were talking about why am I doing this, or why am I going into this direction, or what I need to do, how I need to do, and why I need to do this. When you're thinking of all of this, once again we come back to that our first question, which is around burnout. Work life balance is becomes challenging
Yeah.
as you grow in your career. Like maybe when I started my first episode, or when I was doing my first 4 episode, it was pretty chill. But as it is growing, it is becoming
Yeah.
it demands more. It has high
Yeah.
demands. It's more complex. Work life balance at a mid senior and senior level also becomes very demanding, very 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 challenging. How do you help your leaders achieve peace, or find that balance of life and work at that level?
That's the most challenging problem.
Okay, okay.
But even like actually today morning, I was talking to an engineering manager at Meta. Like we both are working together, and she feels there's always so many things to do, and and now she wants to work towards becoming a director, and she's like, do I really want this? Like, can I manage? Because the responsibilities are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger from here. And she has 2 kids, so a lot to do there, right? So what I actually told her is, you because I see this pattern where she wants to become a leader, then she second guesses herself, like, can I do it? Can I handle it? Can I handle the
But that's
responsibilities of
human.
success? Yeah. So what I told her is, see, are you noticing this? You really want this, but you're second guessing and questioning it again and again. You get stuck on that loop. Then after 2 days, you come back again and say, no, but I want to work towards director. Then after 2 days, you're like, but can I do this? Can I handle this? So it's almost like a cycle where you're, stuck in. So what I told her, you take some time and reflect and ask yourself, how do I want to define work life balance and harmony for myself? And that would be very different for you. You don't look at what your current directors are doing, what somebody else is doing, like your friends are doing, but you define it for yourself, and then we'll have a conversation. So then, she told that Saturday, Sundays, she's actually bored. She doesn't want so much time with the kids. She actually wants to like do some work during the weekends and have like 4 5 hours with kids. So she wrote it all down, and then we discussed, and then we came up with a framework like, okay, you can put things in calendar like this, you can manage your priorities this way, you can get help in these areas, you can delegate these things, get someone to help with chores, like really planning it out after you define it for yourself. So I think it's a more in-depth process, but I think at the super high level is you taking some time to reflect on what it means to you, how you want to like set those boundaries, and then coming up with coping mechanisms and processes to like make that happen.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. And without sacrificing your career growth. Like
Yeah.
you're not sacrificing it, because a lot of time we as humans start to think that, okay, I have to give time to my family, my kids, and I want to take my weekends chill. So maybe I'm not ready for the director position. So
Yeah.
when you had that conversation, you ensure that she is taking up that position, but at the
Mhm.
same time she's also getting time for
Yeah.
her home and for her family.
Yeah. And not everyone needs to grow and, become leaders, but she is really passionate about it. Again, we discuss certain
Why
things,
not?
right?
Like
She
why
wants
don't you
to,
think that not
because
everybody?
some people don't find excitement or passion in that, like to lead a team. They are better off, doing something else that brings them passion. Like we discussed, maybe working in a different
Got
industry
it.
or some
So
other
basically,
paths.
you're saying
Yeah.
that not everybody needs, need would be the wrong
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
It would be like not everybody wants to
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
and grow
Correct.
in
Correct.
the
That's
career.
true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because when you say need, then it becomes that, oh my god, somebody's restricting me. So it's
Right.
not that
Correct.
we are restricting them.
Yeah.
We're saying that maybe if your life choices, or if your career choices are to stay as an individual contributor, and we see tons of those people
Yeah.
like who become architect and
Yes.
distinguished architect, and
Mhm.
they never ever move into
Yeah.
people management because they
Yeah.
don't want to become a people
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah.
Got it. Got
But
it.
she actually loves to be a people manager. But
Got it.
then it's the fear of not, it's the fear of, can I handle the responsibilities of success that comes along with this? And am I capable enough to manage like home and work.
Work.
So it's like working through some of those limitations that you're setting on yourself, because you're not believing in yourself in that way, right? Because you're questioning your own abilities, whether you can manage. But if you want something, you'll always find a way to make that happen.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I have again a small question
Mhm.
here into this thing. When you say that as a lot of people want to become people manager and they
Mhm.
love the aspect of it, and some of them don't. Now, yet there is some sort of aspirations. You don't want
Mhm.
to get stay stuck at that same space.
Mhm.
So, is there a different set of coaching which you do for those kind of individual, or it's all again it's part of the process. It depends on case by case basis.
Some people enjoy breadth, so their strategy that I develop for them is like every few years, maybe, increase the breadth in which you work. Like maybe you work a couple of years in healthcare, you're feeling like really good about the skills you get, now go and work maybe in education sector, and use because some people enjoy that breadth.
Hmm.
So for them the strategy would be like, keep moving instead of laterally, not laterally, instead of going up the
Sorry.
ladder, move like, lateral.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot like career coaching and life coaching is still very new to the
Mm.
South Asian mindset?
Yeah.
Like it's still very new. People are still trying to accept it, like how
Yeah.
important it is to have a career or life coach. What would you say to our listeners? Like why should
Mhm.
they hire a career coach?
Mm. Yeah.
Whether it's you or whether it's anybody whom they want to hire, why they should be doing that?
So I would not say like everyone again needs to have a career coach, right? Am I right this time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
I got
absolutely right.
confused with all the needs and
Yeah.
wants, but
Yes.
yeah, I definitely think not everyone needs to have a career coach, but I think if really fast tracking your success is important to you,
Hmm.
that's where I think a coach can help, because some people are not worried about timelines. They are like, I'll take my own sweet time, whether it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years,
Hmm.
I'll just figure it out, I'm fine.
Hmm.
But some people are like, I don't want to be stuck or, put so much time, energy, resources into figuring out everything by myself. I feel like I'm creating the same outcomes and the same results again and again. I'm just not able to get past this and create a new outcome that I want. So I just need a fresh perspective. I just need someone freshly to look at this, help me figure out my blind spots and tell me the exact pathways and the roadmap that I need to follow to make this happen.
Hmm.
So it's a personal preference. Like I always want things fast and I want like, I really believe success leaves a trail. So if someone has done it, left a trail for you, left a clues for you, why not pick it up and do that and fast track, right? Why
Why do
spend
you
so
have to?
much time figuring out everything by yourself,
Yeah.
doing trial and error? And then at one point you're exhausted, time just goes by. So I think it's, yeah, like a personal preference. So I would say coaching would work for someone who wants things faster, who doesn't want to spend a lot of time and energy by themselves, like doing it alone, need that support, need that accountability. Like take, for example, I have a fitness coach, a personal trainer right now. Before personal training, I would go to gym like, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes like once a week. Then I would not go for 2 times. But now 5 times a week I've been going for the last 2 months because I have a trainer. So the amount of, how much I've been able to work on my physical health has exponentially increased right now, because I had someone like who was telling me exactly what to do. Everything is there. So that accountability helps, right? So I think that's how I would, yeah, think about
So
coaching.
basically, a career coach is sharing that accountability with you for
Mm-hmm.
your journey, and it's
Yeah.
also the fact that they are putting their trust in you, that they
Mhm.
trust you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
like if I am coming to you with my career, for my career advice,
Mhm.
and if I'm not seeing results,
Yeah.
then I will not trust you.
Yeah.
But if I'm seeing result, then I'm trusting you, and I'm
Mhm.
trusting the process. And what do you think that normally the success rate is? Like out of your
Mm.
10 clients, how many eventually reach their goal?
That's a good question. Honestly, I haven't measured it.
Okay.
I should, I guess.
Yes,
That would be
yes.
helpful. That's a good question, because most of my clients also stay with me for a long time. Like I've had
What is that
clients.
average duration?
So some of them have been working with me for a year, year and a half, 6 months, 8 months, because it is not just career, is not very separate from you. Like you are, you bring yourself to your career. It's ultimately your work at the end of the day, right? That you're putting out there. So we do a lot of personal growth work as well. And then one step after the other. So someone might come first to get better on themselves. Then they want to figure out their job. And then once they get the job, now it's like becoming better at the job. Then once it's that, they want to start a side hustle. So I had a client who I helped get a job, get promoted, now helping her with a side hustle. We've been working for 1.5 years right now. So it's also very like, evolutionary. And there are so many aspects as well. So I haven't like, yeah, sat down and measured things like that.
But you have had people who have been working with you for a long, long time.
Yeah.
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 And what does a normal career coaching period looks like? Like
Mhm.
from how many months to how many years can one go go along with a career coach?
I think minimum I work with someone for 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a reasonable timeline. I always say like 90 days is a great period for a significant transformation to happen if you do like the right things. So I feel like, with vacation, sick time, like this and that, you'll need like 4 months to achieve one of your goals. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. And how many times in a week do you generally meet your, clients?
So right now I've created more of a mastermind solution because that includes like, content, community, coaching, workshops, and group coaching.
I was gonna think that workshop. I was not expecting it at all. I was expecting something with C's.
C's.
Because you
I
have
should do that.
content, community, and then I was like, okay, what's next?
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So it's like, they have content like videos and worksheets and exercises. Then community has been super helpful. I was honestly very anxious to start because I was thinking, how would people open up to new people? Because they can be vulnerable to me as their coach, but I now everyone is really enjoying the community aspect and the calls that we have, like the group calls that we do. So every Friday, all my clients, we have like group calls and everyone shares their wins, like what they're working on, like help each other out as well. So that's been like, really powerful because as women, sometimes you don't have those role models or, your friends are in different paths. Maybe you cannot have some of those conversations with your friends, but here in the community, people are able to really lean on each other for, career conversations, personal growth conversations, and things like that. So yeah, it's like I typically meet twice a month. Sorry, yeah, twice a month. Yeah, and
Got
then
it.
all these other aspects as well.
My final two questions for
Yep,
you.
yep.
The first question is, you talked about community, you talked about content, and all of this actually requires constant learning, continuous learning. So when you talk to your clients, what do you like? How do you ask them to constantly evolve in their role by imbibing the continuous learning path?
Hmm. That's a great question. So the question, if I understand right, it's like
I think this is one episode where I think I have heard the most number of times. That's a great question. I like that, Pavi. Okay.
yeah, because you are asking all these great questions. Mm, so you're basically asking, if I understand right, how do you make sure that your clients are able to continuously learn
Learn and
and
evolve.
evolve? Hmm.
Like, say if I'm your client, I stayed there
Mm-hmm.
with you for 4 months, and after that, I
Mm-hmm.
achieved the goal for which I signed
Mm-hmm.
up for, and then I'm not in touch.
Mm-hmm.
But you as a coach, you would want me to
Yeah.
constantly grow. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one case, and the other case is like I stay with you, and I'm constantly in touch with you for year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm constantly growing, and I'm constantly consulting you. That
Mm-hmm.
is another example where you are constantly guiding that person. So how do you ensure that you guide both of these of your clients?
Right. So, as much as possible, I try to create all my tools to be very repeatable and sustainable because, excuse me, because it's not like I'm not going to sit here and give unrealistic promises that, hey, once you go through 4 months with me, you will not have any problems in your careers or any problems in your personal growth, right? That is not possible. But what I teach you is how you can build the skill of, for example, being resilient. How can you build a skill of having some of the foundations in place? So, any challenge comes your way, you're able to handle it, and any emotional triggers or emotional challenges come your way, you're able to manage your emotions better. So teaching them some of those foundational tools of how to manage their emotions, how to like create a powerful mindset where they are mindful and aware of their thoughts and making sure that their thoughts are like supporting them to move forward. So all of these tools, they can always keep using that even after the coaching for the new set of problems that they are having, for the new emotional roller coasters they are facing, for the new set of limiting beliefs that they are facing. They can reuse those tools. And now that they have proven to themselves that, hey, I've invested in myself, money, time, effort, I've done this, I've achieved this goal, I see that they become more self-confident. They're like, okay, I've done this once, now I can keep doing this again and
Again and
again.
again.
And they motivate themselves naturally to like keep going after the next thing, after the next thing. And I also recommend a lot of like books and resources like that as well, so they can keep like learning and evolving. And yeah, and now I'm also opening up the community for them to have a membership year after year if they want to still be part, because as I'm learning and I'm evolving, I share new things. Like literally every month I put on new things in my coaching groups. So if they want to do that, they can still be part of it and keep
And
learning.
what is the membership cost?
Right now it's at $150 a month.
A month, and then you can sign up for a month, and you have a
Yeah, you can
discounted rate at
cancel. Yeah.
annual. Do you have annual rates as well?
Right now, I didn't do that yet.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
monthly
it's a pretty
150.
new thing because people were asking for it. Like I said, I only launched the community early this like few months back. So yeah, it's still in early stages. I didn't create an annual package and stuff, but
Got
they
it.
can cancel anytime. And
Anytime.
yeah,
And in that monthly package, what all they get?
content, group coaching calls, and the community.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And the group coach, and how many contents do you provide in a month?
So right now I have like a lot of materials and courses already, but every month I try to put
So what I'm trying to
workshop. Yeah.
share with my listeners is like, if they sign up,
Mhm.
what are they going to expect that they'll get? Like how many
Oh.
contents, how many group calls? When you say talk about community, what are the benefits of being in the community?
Yeah. So basically the content is around your mindset, getting promotion, landing your job, communication, like all these 6 C's we discussed. We
Mhm.
have content on all those 6 C's, so they can learn at their own pace based on what goals they have. And I have an initial onboarding call as well to help them figure out like what your goals are and what you should be focusing on right now. And then every Friday we have the group coaching call, so as they're implementing that, they can come to the call with their questions, where they are stuck, and I would coach them through that during those calls. Everyone gets a dedicated amount of time to share and get unstuck and move forward. And outside of that, they also get Slack access to me, so if they're really stuck, they can send me a voice message, text message. If I really have to hop on a call, I do. Like, I'm not going to say no to that. Yeah, those are the benefits.
Awesome. So having more access to you and being able to connect with you and talk to you more personally.
Yeah.
What is your career coaching charges? Like when somebody signs up for a career coaching class with you, how much are they expecting to pay? Like what is that range, or is it depends on person to person or case to
Yeah,
case?
it kind of depends based on which level you are in and the duration and things like that. But I would say anywhere between like $875 to $1,500 a month.
Got it. Got it. Last question
Yeah.
is you also do resume writing, and your process also involves NLP.
Mhm.
To our listeners who are interested in getting career coached by you and you who are feeling stuck, tell them a little bit about like how you are incorporating resume writing, NLP, and the entire career coaching process in this entire package you provide to help them not feel stuck in their career.
So I found that when I wanted to do coaching, when I looked at other programs out there, I felt it was very focused on just the outward strategies, like okay, get your resume ready, update your LinkedIn, do the interview prep, and do this whole thing, right? But I felt it lacked the aspect of self, and some of the foundational challenges that people deal with. Because what if you're always applying for the jobs that you hate, or for the jobs that you're underqualified for? I literally had someone who has 20 years of experience and still she was applying for entry level jobs because she felt her age is a barrier, and she felt like there are so many young people who do data analytics better. So she was having all those limiting beliefs, and she was still applying for entry level jobs. And after working with me, I got her a manager role actually.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Wow.
So things like that, right? People like miss out on that. Okay, let's just do all these strategies. So that's why I use NLP in the foundation first to identify what are the
Tell a little bit
limitations.
about NLP. What is it? Natural language processing?
That's the tech one. Yeah, in
I
tech.
was just kidding.
Yeah, I know. In tech, it's natural language. That was
Yeah.
my undergrad project. In NLP. Oh my god, yeah, it's funny. It's neuro linguistic programming. So it's basically like understanding how your mind works. Like because in mind, we are going to like go a bit deeper, I guess. But
We'll cover that deeper topic
Okay.
for sure in the next in the
Okay.
next session with you, because I'm hoping that you'll come back again. But I really want people to
Okay.
understand that how you use it.
Okay. So in neuro linguistic programming, it's more about your mind, like your conscious mind, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, and all of that. So what I do is like first understanding those self-limiting patterns that you have. Like what are those unconscious beliefs that are stopping you? Like I told you this example, age is a barrier for me. I'm not as experienced as these young professionals are. So really understanding that and helping you, and that is coming from somewhere, like from some memory, some experience. So we really unpack that, help you to release that, and then we do identity shifting work, which is actually shifting into this higher self, this best version that we spoke about today, right? How can you shift into that version of you, like really defining that future self, that future you want, and shifting and shifting and shifting and clearing and shifting into this version. So you feel first more empowered, more confident. And then from that space, when you look at things now, your job search strategy is going to be different. You'll be like, no, I don't deserve this job, or I deserve much bigger package, or you completely change the way you look at it. And then you approach with more passion as well, because now we've discovered your passion and purpose. So the way you talk to recruiters, the way you put your LinkedIn message, everything changes. Like I had a client who wrote a cover letter that about her young age, like, for her passion for hospitality, her story about her dad, and all of this in the cover letter. Like that showed so much of passion. Other cover letters are so boring. So things like that. We really uncover a new version of you through NLP.
I was
and
going to
then
think
put
that you're
these
going to say that,
strategies.
oh, what a rubbish cover letter. But you said it, it's good. That's
Yeah,
a very
it
good
touches
perspective. Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and things like that, right? So basically, when you incorporate those strategies of your mindset and tap into your passion and purpose, the way you approach a job completely changes. It's more fulfilling and you find something that's impactful. And then I have a team who does like resume for you, LinkedIn for you, and all that, because I don't want my clients to spend hours and hours creating a resume. So we do all of that for you, so that part gets speeded up, and then you just are focused on the interviews and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pavi. One last message you would like to give to our listeners who are looking to, make a breakthrough, besides, coming to you for career coaching, who are stuck in there, like who are mid senior leaders, stuck in their career and looking to break through. What is that one message you would give to them?
I would say really believe in yourself, because as underrated as it sounds, I think it's really important. It completely changes when you believe in yourself, because there would be so many people who might not believe in you, who might be telling you that, hey, I don't think you should do this, do that. But when you don't listen to any of that and you own your decisions, like really own your worth and believe in yourself, you can really do anything that you think is impossible as well. So really motivating yourself and believing in yourself plays a big role.
Yeah, self-love, self-care. It works at all level and in all sorts of job. And ladies and gentlemen, this was Pavi Theva, our transformational and inspirational career coach right here in Austin. And she is providing career coaching to people all across the globe. So where can people
literally, because I have a client in London, Paris, Australia.
So her calendars are blocked, her days are blocked. Where can people find you?
They could reach out at Instagram or LinkedIn, at I am Pavi Theva's Instagram, and then LinkedIn is Pavi Theva. My website is also iampavideva.com, and you have an option to book a free clarity session as well. So whether you're thinking of working with me or not, like feel free to book that session so we can get to know each other, and I can help you get some clarity on your goals and challenges, and have a personalized plan for you in that call. And if it makes sense, we can explore working together. But yeah, those are ways to get in touch.
Absolutely. And I think I'm going to definitely book a 1 hour free consultation with you and understand that where am I. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode of The Girl Next Door, jahan hum baatein karte hain dil se dil tak. And this is the place where we share stories, celebrate life, and we talk to everyday heroes like Pavi Theva, who have been transforming lives of so many corporate leaders and so many professionals all around the world. If you love us, do give us a follow, do share our episodes with your friends and family, and please follow us on Instagram, because all our BTS and all our clips go on Instagram. So if you don't like long format conversations, you can still see all the clips on Instagram. And we are also on Spotify. So if you are not a video person, you can actually hear us on Spotify. Till then, keep inspiring, take care, and live your life to the fullest. Adios. Thank you.